Hi everyone. I'd like to talk to you about the re-entry application today. Re-entry permit application is the insurance of your green card. So it's a very important topic. If you're going to take a trip for an extended period of time outside of the US, and if you're a green card holder, don't do that before watching this video. My name is Remzi Kulen. I'm an immigration attorney with over 2 decades of experience. I've helped thousands of families immigrate into the United States. I was able to help them keep their green cards and apply for naturalization. Today, I'm going to try to explain you what re-entry permit is. You are risking your green card if you're going to be outside of the US for an extended period of time and you are not applying for a re-entry permit. This is especially important for green card holders who have to travel outside of the US for an extended period of time, or they take regular long trips outside of US. It is important to remember that keeping the green card is your responsibility. Green card is considered a privilege, not a right, by the US government. So maintaining your green card is critical, especially if you're spending a lot of time outside of the US. Whether the time you spent out of US is 1 year or more than 6 months or less than 6 months, is especially important in this situation. Under any of these scenarios, re-entry permit will act as an insurance for your green card. Re-entry permit became more important with the Trump administration and its policies because Trump administration would like to enforce the laws of making sure that the green card holders live in the United States and progress through naturalization. If they're not going to live in the US, or if they're going to take extended periods of time outside of the US, their green card status will be challenged. So re-entry permit application became more and more important in the last few months. And it will probably hold its importance in the upcoming months or years. As we all know, green card holders can be outside of the US for a long period of time for social, for family reasons, for work reasons, or for health reasons. In these cases, preserving your green card is the top priority. So who should file the re-entry permit application? First of all, if you're going to take a trip outside of the US for more than 1 year, you should definitely file for a re-entry permit, or you may lose your green card. Secondly, if your travel outside of the US will be more than 6 months but less than 1 year, we still recommend you to file a re-entry permit application. Not because you're going to lose your green card after more than 180 days of absence from the US, but you may have difficulty in entering the US and you may have more questioning from CBP while entering the US. So obtaining a re-entry permit will serve as an insurance for your entry into the United States. You will have less stress and you will avoid any hassle that can be experienced when you are pulled to secondary inspection at the port of entry. The third situation I recommend re-entry permit is when your trips are actually less than 180 days, but they are so frequent. Let's say you go out of US, you stay for 3-4 months, you come back, you stay 1 or 2 months, and then you leave, and then you don't come back for another 3-4 months. And this continues periodically. So in these circumstances, even if you didn't pass the 180 bar or 1 year bar, you are still taking a lot of trips outside of the US, and it looks like you may be abandoning your lawful permanent residence in the United States. So obtaining a re-entry permit will again serve as an insurance for your green card, and you're not going to lose your green card. So once the re-entry permit is approved, you will get a passport-like document which will usually be valid for 2 years. If you have spent a lot of time outside of the US within the last 4 or 5 years, then your re-entry permit may be issued for 1 year. So this is ultimately at the discretion of the USCIS, but if you're getting your re-entry permit within the first 5 years of your green card, it is usually issued for 2 years. If you're getting your green card after 5 years of issuance of the green card and you have spent more than 4 years outside of the United States, then your re-entry permit, and you have spent in total more than 4 years outside of the United States, your re-entry permit will most likely be valid for 1 year. Since re-entry permit is a highly technical application, I always recommend my clients or my followers to apply for re-entry permit with an experienced immigration attorney. Mistakes in this application can result in the denial of the re-entry permit application. But even worse than that, if you don't have that re-entry permit, you may be risking your green card. So it is very important to work with an experienced immigration attorney for your re-entry permit applications. So how do you apply for re-entry permit? First of all, you need to be physically present in the United States. You cannot apply for re-entry permit when you are physically outside of the United States. That's a very important rule. That's the bottom line. You need to be in the US to file this application. Once you file the application, you will probably get a biometrics notice. You need to go to that appointment and make sure your biometrics are collected. One of the questions I get is, we are a family of 4, husband, wife, and 2 children. Do everybody need to apply for a re-entry permit, or would just one person from the family be sufficient? The answer is, you have 4 green cards. You have to file 4 re-entry permit applications. So re-entry permit application is by applicant. Re-entry permit application must be filed by every individual green card holder. Of course, for children under 14 years of age, there will be no biometrics notice. And sometimes USCIS may waive the biometrics requirement, and even applicants over the age of 14 may not be required to give biometrics. But you would not know about whether you will give biometrics or not before you file the application. One of my favorite questions about the re-entry permit application is, can I still enter the US with my green card when my re-entry permit is valid? And the answer is yes, because re-entry permit protects you if you don't enter the US, but if you want to enter the US, there is no problem. One of the other important features of the re-entry permit is, if you cannot obtain your own country's passport for some reason and you're a green card holder, you can use that re-entry permit as a passport. You can visit other countries with the re-entry permit, and if you need to obtain tourist visas from those countries, you can have that visas issued on your re-entry permit document. I would like to share a few experiences with my clients about the re-entry permit application. For example, one of my clients had a health issue and he needed to go to his own country to get treatment. This treatment was expected to last between 6 months and 12 months with a possibility of follow-up after the first year. So we were able to file a re-entry permit application, and my clients were able to go to his country and get this treatment. And after 1.5 years, he was able to return without a problem because he had his re-entry permit. I had a client who had 2 children and they were going to high school, and they wanted to finish the high school in their home country before settling in the United States. So we got all of them re-entry permits, and they were able to finish their school in their home country, and then they settled into the United States when the kids come to college age. I think we filed 2 or 3 re-entry permit applications consecutively to be able to allow them to stay outside of the US, but at the same time keep their green card. Another client had a green card. He was assigned to a sister company in China by the US employer, and he was expected to live there for 3 to 5 years. So we were able to file a re-entry permit application, preserve his green card, and he was able to come back and forth with his green card. He eventually returned to his career in the United States, and after completing the requirements, he was able to file for naturalization. Re-entry permit is one of my favorite applications. I have seen many people who told me, we wish we talked to you before, because if we knew about the re-entry permit, maybe we would not have lost our green card. So if you want to keep your green card for yourself or your family or for your children, and you want to spend time outside of the US for an extended period of time, re-entry permit application is the right application for you. Because it is such a technical application, I would always advise you to work with an experienced immigration attorney. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video so others can see it. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care.